your child by myself, by myself. I'm telling you I need some help, some help. How you gonna deny your child, your child? How you gonna just walk out, walk out? You know you need to be a man, and help out any way you can, you can. If not, I'll see you in court, receiving my child support.
And welcome to the Baby Mama Drama Child Support Court Show. This show is an extremely important show. It's important for our communities, to try to strengthen our communities, to try to strengthen black families, to get an understanding of what's going on. A lot of times we can't parent together in the same household, but we can provide some type of solutions by setting up effective co-parenting plans and things of that nature. This show also provides a lot of solutions, and they provide solutions via a panel of intellectuals, professionals in the different areas of child support, child custody, child psychology, doctors, and things of that nature. And it's important that we pay attention to a lot of the things that they're saying and try to utilize them and work them into our daily struggles that we have going on. Our first guest this evening will be Eric Young. Okay, Eric, tell us a little bit about your story.
My story is, I have a daughter. My first daughter is 6 years old, and her mother had differences, and we separated. And by us separating, we didn't make any court arrangements for custody of my daughter or payment to take care of her. You know, I just did it, you know, as time went on. However, once she got on welfare, then it turned into an ugly face, because welfare, of course, you know, I had to go to child support, go for child support and things of that nature. It pulled me, it took a lot of, it was very time consuming. And it was a lot of animosity between her mother and I.
Okay, and the animosity was basically because, what, you were already taking care of your child, right? You couldn't understand why you had to go through welfare?
Yeah, right. I didn't understand at that time.
Okay, and so let me call on one of our panelists, Jim Rocco, who's an attorney here, practices family law in Philadelphia. Can you kind of explain to the audience and also to Eric why a lot of times men find themselves still having to pay child support through welfare after they've been already taking care of theof their child?
In Philadelphia and a lot of counties, when you're taking care of your children, it's most of the time it's when mom comes to you and asks for cash or picking up diapers or milk, and when she's there and asking, you do it. And when you're doing it, you're not thinking about saving the receipt or getting her to sign something. Meanwhile, while you're doing this and you're taking care of your child, she's at the same, got her other hand out, getting it from welfare. So when welfare comes after you, you never have any documentation that proves that you were actually taking care of your children. And the only way that you can protect yourself is, if you're going to make payments or you're going to support your children, you got to do it by either a check to the mother, a money order, or something that they're acknowledging receipt of those payments.
One of the problems in this situation is that if the mother is on welfare, she's not allowed to take cash from you. If the mother is on welfare, even if you are providing for your child, welfare considers that a gift. You still have to pay a court order. And initially, when you get involved with somebody, if they have more than one child, if you have a child with them, the rule in welfare is that if one child in the household is on welfare, then all the children in that household will receive welfare. And I've seen situations where one father of one of the children in the house is paying a large order, has a very good job, is providing very well for his child in the house. The other parents are not, and the mother goes on welfare, and that parent is saying, well, wait a minute, I'm making, $50,000 a year, and why is my kid on welfare? You don't have control over that. If the mother goes on,
To your knowledge, Robin, is there anybody working on reforming that, changing that in the welfare system? Because that just doesn't seem
no.
quite right.
The reasoning behind that is if welfare is going to go in the house and give food to one child sitting at that table, they're not going to not give it to the rest of the children. They just can't do that. So if they provide food for one child, they're going to feed everybody.
Okay.
But, I mean, the fathers and or mothers, whoever is the non-custodial parent, needs to look at that situation, because you're putting a child into this situation. You're not going to have control over that situation.
Right.
That parent is going to have at least 50% control, if not more.
Okay.
I have
mean,
a question.
Go ahead.
I have a question for you. Understand that you were taking care of your child, but during the time that you were giving her money for your child, were you giving her money for herself also?
No. Well, sometimes she would ask me for money here and there.
Okay,
But I didn't document it at that time. At one point in time, I was told that I should document that stuff, and I saved the receipts. And as you said, it was a gift. So, but that's kind of where the animosity with me began, because I didn't want to have to save receipts for my daughter. This is my child.
well, this is the way welfare works. When a person applies for cash assistance and they have dependent children, she cannot you're taking care of your child. She cannot apply for assistance just for herself. She has to apply for that child also. When you apply for cash assistance for a child, it is mandatory that you bring that father or that mother, that absent parent, into court for support. When you go to court, it's set up for two reasons. One reason is to establish paternity, and the other reason is to set up a court order. And she really has no choice in the matter. During the time that you were away and she was on welfare, did they ever send you an appointment to come to court?
When I was away, I was never away.
I'm sorry, when you were not in the home. You were not in the home, but she was on welfare, correct?
Right.
So did you ever get an appointment to come to court for support during that time?
Yes, that's what I know. That welfare is the reason why I came to court, because I had to reimburse her for the cash assistance.
No, you had to reimburse the state.
Reimburse the state, of
Right.
course.
Anytime she receives money from the state, when you pay support, that support money goes to the state.
Right, exactly.
And once she stops receiving cash assistance, then the money will start to come to her. But if there's any arrearages, and those arrearages occurred during the time she received cash assistance, that has to be paid to the state. So you will be responsible to pay that money back.
Right.
Okay.
Technically,
But now
once she goes on cash, technically, she's not even the plaintiff in the case, welfare is. So she can't agree to remit arrears or give you a credit for whatever cash you're spending.
Right.
So now you have custody of your daughter,
Right.
right?
exactly that.
How did you get custody of your daughter?
First and foremost is be proactive. I kept in mind what my daughter needed, what I was lacking when I was younger. Basically now I'm concerned about her education, her schooling, and her moral values.
Okay.
So that's what I thrived off of, and that's what pushed me to file a petition, and so I can have my daughter and raise her the way she needs to be raised.
Okay. So you're raising her in a household where you have your...
Exactly. I'm raising her with my wife
With your wife.
and my other daughter. She's 18 months, and another one on the way.
Okay.
For more information on this program or to become a sponsor, the number is 267-971-0958 or email us at familycourttv@yahoo.com. For a DVD of this entire program, the website is www.newartistonline.com and search Baby Mama Drama. Or visit our MySpace at myspace.com/Baby Mama Drama Child Support.
All right, and today we do have Eric's wife here, so I'd like everybody to welcome Jamie to the stage right now. tell us how you're dealing with the situation with your husband who has custody of his 6-year-old daughter. And
It's pretty easy. I do everything with Erica. With her mom, I deal with everything that goes on with her mom too.
okay, when you say you deal with everything going on with her mom, meaning?
Anything that has to do with Erica, school, clothes, behavior problems, I discuss everything with her and deal with everything with her.
Okay, as part of the equation or along with your husband? Or just alone, you and the mother of...
Along with him, but it has to be me that just talks to her.
Okay, and why is that?
I guess there's some animosity between them from whatever happened before, and the things, like, I know the court system is overwhelming for him,
Right.
so all that resentment and the animosity built up, and whatever she has going on, when they conversate, it doesn't become a conversation, it becomes an argument, and then phones get hung up, or the cursing starts, or yelling, and to end all that so that Erica doesn't have to see that, I took the role of dealing with her mom.
Okay, but do you think that that is a good role for you to be in as the step-parent of the child?
Yeah, I think it works out a lot better
Okay.
for the child.
Well, what about, have you tried bringing your husband, the mother of the child together to say, listen, I shouldn't really be the person in the middle when it comes to this, with these particular issues, with school, with behavioral problems? That's, something that he should be handling as a parent along with the mother.
Yes.
Can I
Okay.
comment for a minute? Actually, y'all had spoke to me that y'all had allowed her to come live with y'all for a little bit. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, she came to stay with us, but she wound up being hospitalized for an issue, and she's pregnant also. And they told her that it was signs of early miscarriage, so we together discussed it and offered for her to stay in our home. And she stayed with us for over a month.
That was a big step, being a female, accept something like that. You need to commend yourself for that. I need to give her a round of applause. I have a question for Mr. Umar Johnson. In situations like this, when the female mother, when they act out in such a way of violence and vindictive ways, normally is it psychological or just...
Well, when I heard the word animosity, it didn't sound like it was one-sided. It seems like it's coming from both parents. And I think that the emotional immaturity that seems to be surrounding this child is going to hurt her developmentally as she goes throughout life. The most important thing in that child's life is not whether or not she gets child support or how much money or even the standard of life. The most important thing is the relationship she has with each parent and the visible relationship she sees that those parents have with each other. So I'm wondering at this point, what, if anything, are you willing to do to help rectify that situation?
That was the first step. Hopefully, it was a difficult decision to make for her to come into our home, hoping that if my daughter sees us and her mother in the same household, getting along, then that'll let her be at ease, instead of having to play a role when she comes to our house and play a role when she goes to her mother's house, and it didn't work out. After a while, it did. But the situation I'm in now is I still harbor some resentments towards her, But that's one thing that I'm working on as of today, to try to alleviate that burden, so my daughter doesn't feel that, so she doesn't see me, my face screwed up, you know what I mean? I won't say anything negative about her mother in front of her mother, but she knows that I don't talk to her on the phone. She's not slow, so I'm working on changing all that for her emotional health. And as you said, emotional health is very important.
So that, I think that's important also too to bring up issues when you're dealing with step parenting, because 76% of children today are living in a home with a step parent. And that's a lot. And I think of that 76%, it's like 47% are from African American communities or of African American descent. So it's important that we work together and try to have a strong sense of balance for the child by having healthy communication between the mother and the father at all times. And yes, you should be commended for what you're doing, but at the same time, it is important, you know, for you and for your child to see you and the mother, you know, speaking together and working out differences in a positive way. Not a lot of yelling, not a lot of negativity and things of that nature. So,
I had a question for Mr. Rocco. How you doing, sir?
Good.
Question I wanted to ask, do you see any changing down at the courts anytime soon as far as the family structure?
Well, there's been a change in the family structure over the last several years that they're recognizing just because of gay and lesbian couples. And so, and what is happening is that by becoming a more liberal family unit, you're seeing fathers having more time with their kids, as opposed to, I think in the past, traditionally they would look at when the parents walk into court and it's mom and dad. Mom's always the one who's the primary caregiver, and dad gets the child every other weekend. But just like in Eric's case, he now has the primary care of his 6-year-old. So Eric's case is an example that the court systems are now acknowledging the father's rights more and giving the fathers the opportunity. And in this situation, it's really unique in one sense that you have your current wife talking with the mother of your 6-year-old. Traditionally, what happens is the new partner comes in, and it's the new partner and the old partner are the ones that are battling. And so Jamie is commended because she is taking that role, and as soon as Eric can get past those issues, he needs to communicate as well.
Sometimes I think also what happens is that the child thinks that, you know, they've done something wrong, and that's what's caused the situation, the fighting between the parents. And, you know, the dads really need to maintain contact with their child, even if the mother is trying to keep the child away from them. They need to hang in there, and they need to tell the child that they love the child, they miss the child, and that they're not angry at the child.
and I think even to take it one step back, I think it's even more important if we can start to communicate with each other and we don't have to utilize these vices or these institutions just because that they're there. You know, a lot of times situations, you know, you need to speak to each other as adults and say, hey, listen, I know there's no way possible that you and I can be together as a couple, but we made these children and we need to be responsible for it. So that's why I wish and I hope that everybody tonight will go home and Google co-parenting and look up a lot of the different laws that are out there now. There are doctors and other people, there's resources that have co-parenting plans. I even have one in the back of my book that parents can utilize as a guide to help them to be able to work together, to parent together, because that's important.
For more information on this program or to become a sponsor, the number is 267-971-0958 or email us at familycourttv@yahoo.com. For a DVD of this entire program, the website is www.newartistonline.com and search Baby Mama Drama. Or visit our MySpace at myspace.com/Baby Mama Drama Child Support.
Our next guest this evening is Tavis Green. Welcome to the stage. Okay, have a seat. Okay, you want to talk to us a little bit about your situation?
Sure.
Okay.
At this time, currently, it's an issue about visitations and partial custody. And since May of this year, 2007, my custody had been suspended due to the fact there was a report on me stated that I had alleged had raped my daughter, which is 6 years old. Upon investigation with DHS, the case had been closed and unfounded. These allegations was also alleged on me 4 different times, constantly, where that DHS still continued to close the case and found that these things was unfounded.
Okay, let me, not to cut you off, but I just want to get some clarity here. It was alleged by the mother of your child, or your ex-wife?
That's correct.
That you had raped your daughter?
That is correct.
Okay. Were there charges filed with the police department?
No
or
charge was filed with the police department.
just only through DHS?
Through DHS. The reason why she's not making a report with the Philadelphia Police Department is because, you can't lie to the police department. So therefore, being still DHS is child protection, they want to have the interest in the protection of the child.
Okay. So with DHS, she can continually file these false claims and they keep entertaining this?
That is
Robin,
correct.
can you help us?
This is one of the biggest problems in the custody cases, and, they're doing studies on it. I was just talking to Omar about parental alienation syndrome. But when you have a custody case and the mother makes those allegations against the father, it puts a taint on the father for the rest of that child's life. And
Exactly.
I'm not sure what the statistics are, but it might be as high as like 80% they're false claims. And he said that she's done it more than one time.
6 times, right?
That's correct.
And, DHS has to go out and investigate if that claim is made.
Okay.
And even when they make an unfounded, meaning we don't think it happened, the judges, when they get presented with the case and the mother actually making the claim in court to the judge, the judge is trying to sift out who's telling the truth, who's not telling the truth, and their only concern is that child safe?
Right. And that's understandable. However, if you have one case in particular, like Mr. Green's case, where it's repeated now, and DHS is going to just continue to entertain this without having set some type of
There's no control against that particular abuse, because if DHS does not go out and investigate and something happens to that child, they're on the hook.
Okay, well, maybe in order to deter this, is there any way that the police department can work side by side with DHS so that when you have these issues or these claims, there can, if it's founded that the mother is fraudulently doing this, then she can be, reprimanded or held accountable for that as well?
I don't think the police would get involved. The police don't even want to really get involved in regular custody cases that don't have these kind of allegations. But what you find is that when you have a case like this, DHS takes kind of a passive role with it. They will say, we haven't found anything that's believable, and they're not necessarily trying to keep the child away from the father. But there is no control over the custodial parent making that kind of a claim.
Well, now, while you were going through this, you had no visitation with your child, right?
That's
so
correct.
You
They suspended me to stay away.
each and every time that you went
correct.
through it.
And at that point, me and the child is not having a relationship for us, father and daughter and son.
Okay.
At that
Was
point.
there any court-ordered child therapy, family therapy?
Yes, we do have court-ordered family therapy, but she still continued to accuse me, allege me of these crimes,
Okay.
these allegations.
And so what about your daughter now? How are you seeing her now?
At this point, I'm not seeing her still.
Okay. So now that you just recently were cleared of the
Correct.
allegations, what, about a month or two ago?
Yes, about a month ago.
Okay. So now that you're cleared, did DHS give you some type of papers to file so now that you can have visitation with your daughter?
Well, they gave me a letter stating that the case is closed and that the allegations that was against me was unfounded. And at this point, what I have to do is forward that to my attorney, and then he had forward that information to the courts and also to the therapist, where therapists can at that point make the decisions what's best for the visits.
Okay.
Until we get a court order.
Okay. Now, I just, want to call on a panelist, Umar Johnson, who's a nationally certified school psychologist. What type of issues, what will he be going through now that he has visitation rights, again, installed for his child? what type of psychological effect is that having? Because you have a child that's being told you can see your father, you can't see your father. You can see your father, you can't see your father. So what's the dynamics of that?
Well, frequent interruptions in a relationship between a child and either parent can help to damage that child. And ultimately what happens is the child begins to withdraw from the parent on their own for fear that they will continue, to face this sort of a cycle. And what happens is they begin to grow hardened, towards that particular parent. So it's really not good. You want to have continuous contact. But also what's unfortunately bad about the situation with DHS is, as he said, while he's going through that investigatory period, he can't have contact with the child. But the point that I wanted to make, though, and it's a general theme anytime you have these sort of problems, is a lot of times the emotional immaturity of the parents is what ultimately leads to psychopathological problems with the child. Normally when you look at these custody issues, these child abuse issues, there's an emotional vulnerability there for the parents, which is an outgrowth of the way that they were raised. And so what you have here is an intergenerational problem being transmitted from generation after generation. And what you have to do, although it's good to intervene, which is what we're doing, you want to be preventive. And I think in being preventive, what parents have to do is start taking their time and choosing who it is that they...
Well, he's paying on time, and in the midst of the child support, he decided he wanted to physically assault me. So then here we go with restraining order.
For a couple years now, I'm paying child support, complying with the court orders. And basically, because I've moved on in my life, I can't see my kids anymore.
12 years ago, my kid's father and we broke up. And basically, I was 100% dependent on him. By the means, I had to get on welfare. And of course, welfare was a stepping stone for me because I had to get my life together.
For more information on this program or to become a sponsor, the number is 267-971-0958 or email us at familycourttv@yahoo.com. For a DVD of this entire program, the website is www.newartistonline.com and search Baby Mama Drama, or visit our MySpace at myspace.com/Baby Mama Drama Child Support. Walk Down Entertainment is seeking funding for our future endeavors. If you are an organization, a mass media representative, political official, or involved in the marketing industry and interested in learning more about our projects, please contact the CEO of Walk Down Entertainment, Keith Mungin, at 267-971-0958 or email us at familycourttv@yahoo.com.
I'm trying to avoid taking you to court, but your actions is leaving me no choice. I swear, I'm ready to spaz out. I gotta pay the rent or the landlord kick us out. But you don't care, you got a nice little crib. We in the hood somewhere, and what goes around comes around.